Welcome back to another episode of Broke Ass EDC, home of the working stiffs everyday carry. Here I have the Schrade Killer Whale. I never actually purchased this knife new. It came to me in a flea market. I was wandering around. I think it was a pretty hot day. Pretty hot. I think Labor Day weekend, big flea market, and wandering around with the other half, and saw her sitting there on the table. Fella had $15 on it. I made a little small talk with him, and looked at a couple of the knives I wasn't even interested in, but shot him an offer of $5 for it, and in my pocket it went. When I first got it, it was pretty rough shape. It wouldn't even hardly flip open. It was pretty stiff. So, took it home, took it all apart, throwed it back together, and at that point in time, I just used a pull-through sharpener, and it did its deed, here and there. You know how it is. Flavor of the month. I carried it for a little bit, and the drawer it went. It sat in a drawer there for a while until I bought this new work sharpener, and I was digging through. I didn't want to put it on a good knife, trying it out. I've never used one of these precision sharpeners, and decided that blade style, that modified Warncliffe, would be an easy enough one to learn on. So I bolted her in it and moved through every one of the stones, really taking my time trying to learn how to use that sharpener. And I laid down a razor edge with that thing. I mean, I'm really impressed with the sharpener. I plan on getting around to showing it. I mean, it's a little bit on the upper end, but once you've used that sharpener, anything else is just not going to make you happy. But back to the Killer Whale. With that good edge on it, I just had to put it back to work. So I've been carrying it and wanted to get on here and share. Maybe somebody would be interested or something like that on it. Because, I mean, you're looking at a $30 knife on their website. That they're still making these. And this thing's pretty useful. I mean, it's got a pretty utilitarian blade. The detent is real stiff on it, so there's not going to be any big flicking action. You can pull it out two-fingered and roll it out, and then you've got to be serious when you're ready to flip it out, because it stays pretty tight in order to keep the blade centered. You've got to keep the pivot pretty tight on it. So the modified Warncliffe blade with the AU S10 and this black oxide coating, I mean, it's a pretty tough blade. It'll hold the edge decent, depending on just how hard you're pushing and what you're cutting through, but it'll hold the edge pretty good. You can see this one's been used. It's scratched and beat up, but for a $5 knife, you can't really complain. I think I'd have stepped up and spent the $30 on it for the use I've got out of it. With the blade right at 3.5 inches long, and then the knife being about 5 inches when it's closed, and coming in at almost just a little bit over 4 ounces, I think it is. It's definitely a blue jean carry. You don't want to try to pack it in shorts or nothing. And when you really get down to cutting with it, that frame lock holds it pretty good. I haven't had any slippage or anything else. I mean, the overall design, you've got a good cutting edge, and then that jipping on the top of the blade, you can really get on it. The handle, even with my big hands, you can get the 4 fingers on it, hold it pretty tight. get a good cut on it. Overall impressions, I mean, I've enjoyed this pretty well with the aircraft aluminum handles, slick on the back side going into the pocket, in and out just fine. Little bit of a deep carry, I mean, just a little bit sticks out. And then you've got a little bit of texture here on the front side that holds up pretty well even with some wet or sweaty hands. Overall, working class beat 'em up knife. It's definitely one you can feel good about. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And y'all take care and stay safe out there. See you next time on Broke Ass EDC.